I'll now ask our last speaker, Karmit. Uh, so Karmit, again, you have been working a lot on this area for so many years. Can you talk through in terms of how these technologies can help the manufacturing companies to improve the optimization, optimize their resources and improve the productivity?
Sure.
And maybe a few of the examples you can share also with all of us.
Sure. Good afternoon, CII. Thank you, Biswajit, for having me here. I think it's a privilege for me to actually be at the end of the session because after all the veterans have spoken, you would be able to connect all the dots through the presentation. And of course, you can connect the dots looking backwards and not forward. So let me tell you a bit about our company, Compucare. We have been around for about 20 years now, and our goal has always been to focus and upgrade, firstly people, then offices, and now industries to the latest technologies. We have helped industries achieve high productivity and efficiency using our systems, and now we are solving complex problems with innovative solutions. Well, our tagline also says, innovative people, innovative solutions, and we like to stick with it. Automation has been around since quite 5 years or more now. Industry 4.0 has been a buzzing word since last 5 years. However, India is a bit tricky market. Over here, labor costs are so low that having a return on investment on any automation project is difficult. Well, still, each and every company in India wants to optimize productivity. The big question then comes is, how do we do that? Well, let me take you through a story. It's inspired from a real-life experience, a real customer, but I'm just going to name him Jagdish for the moment, Mr. Jack. He's an Indian, and he is an SME, in fact. He is an auto part manufacturer, and he is using automation to optimize productivity, and he got his ROI within 2 years. Well, let's see how we helped him achieve that. Mr. Jagdish recently reached out to me to talk about his new contract with an American company. The contract required him to add 20% more production than his maximum capacity. Well, he was left with two ways. First, of course, being expansion. He had already thought through this process, and he told me that he had already wanted to add 8 more workers on his production lines, wanted to put 2 more production lines, and a couple of managers to manage these. Well, all this in order to achieve his new contract targets. Well, this would help him achieve his targets, but again, he knew that his efficiency and productivity would remain the same. Well, on top, his overheads and costs were increasing so high that he was not able to maintain the margins. Well, the other way he approached me was for automation. I asked him one simple question. I asked him a few things. What if he did not need a single person to be added on his production line? What if he did not have to invest a single buck in adding a new production line? And of course, all this while reaching out to their targets. That begged the question, how do we do that? Again, so the answer is simple. I told him, just keep doing what you're doing already, but differently. Well, there are 2 key factors you have to focus on. First being optimized productivity, and second, increased efficiency. And what is the difference between the two? It's simple. Just put in more time to produce stuff and not maintain it, while in the process, reducing the resources that you are using to optimize that. Well, we went further and discussed about the challenges he was facing. I have made 3 sets of challenges for simplicity. The first set he told me that Communication gap was a major problem inside the factory. Production line workers were not able to communicate their problems to their respective departments efficiently, and as a result, the breakdown time was very high. He was not able to figure out exactly where the production leakage was. Well, and in all this mess, he lost a lot of production opportunity. He could be spending all this time in producing stuff and not just maintaining it. Well, the answer to this is a bit tricky, but simple. Well, why don't you use a simple and-on system on your production line? It's basically a hotline that would that would connect production line workers with their respective departments. Well, it's above the production line. It is also a smart one. You could set a set of problems on the production line and set a response time. If the problem was not solved in that time, it would escalate. And in India, if you fear the escalation, of course, you're going to work hard to reduce the breakdown times. Well, all this was in his hand right now. He would be analyzing the reports, the problems, the issues going on in his hand right now, in real time. The second set of challenges were like, there was one line worker always focusing on counting the number of products they produced. Well, he found this useless. And above that, there were 5 supervisors maintaining his 5 production lines who spent half of the time verifying this data coming from the operators. Well, this was also not productive for him. The data was then entered manually in the ERP. So he had one backend staff just putting in data. Well, the problem did not stop here. Jack still had to spend time every day to verify this data entered in the ERP, to keep it clean. The reports he got were at the end of the shifts, which he could not afford to wait for. And the production line workers had no sense of their hourly targets. Well, for this, he had to monitor his productions. How would that happen? A production monitoring system would efficiently stop him from cut down his time from verifying the data coming in and the hassle coming with it. Well, it connects to all your systems using the Internet of Things and automating the data entry processes. So efficiently removing the one person just maintaining the count register and the data entry person who is just entering the data at the end of the day, while also saving 50% of the supervisor's time coming in. At the end, the reports were in line in the very moment in real time. And like one of the customers did was add a display board to motivate workers to see what the hourly targets were. The third set of challenges were a bit tricky. Of course, he told me that there was a lot of worker fatigue due to repetitive tasks. Labor dependency for material handling was increasing like anything. And of course, after lunch, like what we are right now, they would slack off, which meant low accuracy in work and lost production. Well, I believe all of you have already guessed the answer, and that is industrial robotics. Industrial robotics are the best way to do the repetitive task which robots should be doing and not humans. And they can do it better and at higher speeds. Well, this would reduce his dependency on laborers. And of course, they do not slack off after lunch. They maintain the same accuracy 24/7. And again, there's a common notion going with industrial robotics. I believe the person from UR already discussed this, that robots do not have to be expensive anymore. However, we designed a robot that was even more cheaper than what they thought. And we say that you can get your ROI using this SCARA robot within 2 years. Well, it's cheaper than what you're already thinking. So we went forward and implemented all this system on his production premises. Well, guess what happened? Where he was thinking about adding people, now he is saving 10 people worth of time. Where he was planning to put 2 more production lines, he's meeting his targets with the same production lines. And the data entry, well, it is now transparent, reliable, and in real time. Everything is automated. So, my dear friends, there is a lot of technology available in the markets now. The key is where and how you use this technology. And at Compucare, we believe we can give you the answer to this how and where you implement it. Thank you.
Thanks, Karmit. Thanks for walking us through